We said if the shemen is dripping from the ner, you're not allowed to catch it in the in the bowl, because either you mevatel kli me'achano or because en keli nital letzorech davar nital. Now the Mishnah says ve'en ne'otim mimenu lefi she'ena menuchan. You're not allowed to benefit from the oil that you caught. You could put the keli from before Shabbat. That's mutar, because whatever you did before Shabbat. Now, you want to use that oil. You need some extra oil for the salad dressing. You say, here's the oil that came out of the ner. It's kodesh. It came from the... Ve'en ne'otim mimenu lefi she'ena menuchan. Tana Rabbanan we learn. Motar hashemen shebaner. The leftover oil that's in the ner, right? You had a ner, and it blew out, or it went out. V'shebeke'arao, that's in the plate. Asur, you're not allowed to use it on Shabbat. But Rabbi Shimon matir, Rabbi Shimon says it's mutar. Why is that? The Tana Kama holds, once you lit it on Shabbat, you will maktzeh it to be used in the oil. More than that, ben hashemashot, you weren't allowed to use it. Why weren't you allowed to use it? Because it was burning in the fire. And if you take any oil out of the fire, it's mechabeh. So there was an isur to take this oil. Because it was muktzeh ben hashemashot, it stays muktzeh for the whole Shabbat.
It's not a fake muktzeh, because it might burn, it might not.
Either way, you're not using it.
I'll use it if it doesn't burn.
No. You can't use it ben hashemashot. That's enough. Migod it ketzai ben hashemashot, it ketzai lekuli yomah. But Rabbi Shimon matir, because Rabbi Shimon doesn't hold of muktzeh mehamat isur, even though it's muktzeh now, because you can't use it. When it goes out, I'll use it. He doesn't believe in muktzeh mehamat isur. That's why he says Rabbi Shimon matir. Now, so he doesn't. That's what that muktzeh mehamat isur means. That if it's asur ben hashemashot and the isur goes away, it stays muktzeh for the whole Shabbat. Rabbi Shimon doesn't hold to that. Rabbi Shimon holds when it is, it is. When it is, it isn't. Now we're going to introduce a new type of muktzeh. Machloket about a new type of muktzeh. The Mishnah says metaltelin ner hadash avalo yashan. You're allowed to move a new ner, but not an old one. So again, the ner is this, the standard nerot, well, like you go find them now in the Arab shuk, those clay nerot. Right? You fill it with oil and you put the wick in the front. Clay doesn't clean. You can't really wipe it clean. So when it gets all sooty from the wick and from the oil and from everything, there's really no way to clean it. So in there, after a while, it gets disgusting. So he says, metalteli ner hadash avalo yashan. You can move a new ner, but you can't move an old ner. Why can't you move an old ner? Because it gets so disgusting, it's ma'us. Basically, you're not going to use it for anything else. A ner hadash, maybe you'll put your salad dressing in it. You'll use it for, but the ner yashan, you're not gonna. So therefore, I'm maktzeh da'at mimenu. I take my mind off of it because it's so disgusting. But a ner hadash, even though it's a kli shemlachtoli isu l'chaora, it's used for lighting. Okay, we have a mishnah in kol hakelim that a kli shemlachtoli isur, you're allowed to use l'tzorech kufom kumah. So the ner hadash is not muktzeh. Mash'enken, the ner yashan, it's so disgusting. There's nothing else you can use it for. So therefore, you're not allowed to move it. Rabbi Shimon says, Kol nerot metaltalin. You're allowed to move all the nerot, hadash and yashan. So you see, he doesn't hold of muktzeh mehamat mi'us. Chutz min haner hadolek b'Shabbat, except for the candle that's actually lit on Shabbat. Why? Because that one is right now, it's a basis l'davar asur. But Rabbi Shimon allows you to use the ner that was lit on Shabbat. Again, like we said a minute ago, Rabbi Shimon doesn't believe in migod et ketzai leben hashemashot, et ketzai lekuli yomah. He's not going to follow that. Since he's not going to follow that, so therefore, once it goes out, it's okay. Mash'enken, Rabbi Yehuda and the Tanakama, they say if a ner was muktzeh ben hashemashot, the rule is the way it is ben hashemashot is the way it stays the whole Shabbat, and that's all. It's no good. So the Gemara says, let's see Rashi. Metaltalin ner hadash she'eno ma'us. It's not disgusting. V'hazil ishtamush shel you could use it plain. Shelo dalak bo ner me'olam. They never used it. Avalo yashan demuktzeh mehamad mi'usu because it's disgusting. רפואה של אימאם משה בן אבלין ולהצלת כל עם ישראל. תנא רבנן, מטלטלין נר חדש אבל לא ישן. So you're bright explaining the Mishnah. You're allowed to move a new ner because it's not disgusting and you can use it לצורך גופו ומקומו. אבל לא ישן, but not an old one. Why? Because it's מוקצה מחמה מיאוס. You have nothing to use it for. To light with, you're not allowed. And to use it for anything else, it's disgusting, please. דברי רבי יהודה. Rabbi Meir says, "Kol hanerot metaltalin, chutz min haner shehedliku bo." You're allowed to move any ner, meaning I don't believe in muktzeh mehamat mi'us. But ner shehedliku bo, if you lit it Friday night, even though it went out, it stays muktzeh. Why? Migodet ketzai leben hashemashot, et ketzai lekuli yomah. Look in Rashi, chutz min haner shehedliku, ve'af al gav shekabah, even though the ner already went out, asur. The itl Rabbi Meir. Muktzeh mehamat isur. Velet le muktzeh mehamam ius. He does believe, and again, it's important to state that when we use the term muktzeh over here, we're not using it in the classic term like we say, oh, it's muktzeh, I can't touch it. Muktzeh means more than that over here. It means since it was muktzeh in the beginning, it stays muktzeh for the whole Shabbat. That's really what when we say muktzeh in this. Muktzeh mehamat isur means everybody agrees that when it's lit and it's asur, you can't use it. Right. What they mean is since that's the way it was, you can't use it the whole Shabbat. That's muktzeh mehamat isur. It extends to the whole Shabbat. Kosa ben hashemashot. Okay. Rabbi chutz min haner hadolek. That's that. Rabbi Shimon Omer chutz min haner hadolek b'Shabbat. Like except for the ner that's on Shabbat. Rashi be'od shu dolek. While it's still lit, asur. Shemi yichabe haner. Maybe the ner will go out. Ashishit. Let's start again. Ashishit. Okay, that's the next piece. The Gemara continues. Kabta. So Rabbi Shimon holds kabta. If it went out, mutar letaltala. You're allowed to move it.
What's the point of it if it's out? What are you going to do with it?
I want
you shouldn't touch.
What?
Then you shouldn't even touch because it has no purpose.
No, I want to take it away. I want to clean the table. Why? Why can't I clean the table? If it's muktzeh mehamat isur, I can't move it. It's like a rock. It's not even. There's no heter. There's no heter of gufom komo. But now that it's what's it called? Now that it's not muktzeh, I can move it. Yeah, we're on. What was that? Yossi?
No.
Eli, yeah, it's on. Okay. He's in already, don't worry. Rabbi Shimon Omer, chutz min haner hadolek b'Shabbat, b'kabta mutar letaltala, aval kos v'ke'ara v'ashishit. But if you lit in a cup, if you lit in a plate, if you lit in a big bowl, lo yizizem imkomam, you can't move them. V'Rabbi Eliezer b'Rabbi Shimon Omer, Rabbi Eliezer b'Rabbi Shimon says, mistapek min haner hakabeh ומן השמן המטפטף אפילו בשעה שהנר דולק. Rabbi Eliezer Rabbi Shimon says you're allowed to take oil from the ner that went out. There's not muktzeh. Not only that, you put your thing over there to catch the shemen, so you could use it.
Wasn't muktzeh before? We said the bad start was
So he does. Let's say it says the Gemara. Amar Abaye, Rabbi Eliezer Rabbi Shimon savarla kavua bechada paliga lebechada. He holds like his father for one, and he argues on his father in one. Meaning, savarla kavua bechada. He holds like his father in one. That was the lit muktzeh. Meaning, again, when we say over here lit muktzeh, it's just because it was muktzeh ben hashemashot, it doesn't say muktzeh for the whole Shabbat. So therefore, kapta, when the ner is kabeh, you're allowed to use it. As long as it's lit, it's all muktzeh. You will maktzeh it for as long as the ner was lit. That's what Rabbi Shimon holds. Rabbi Shimon holds minaner. He only says minaner kabeh, yani from the ner that went out. Kapta mutar letaltala. But according to Rabbi Shimon, it would seem that there's a certain amount of muktzeh here. Your maktzeh the oil for as long as the ner is on.
How it's possible with Muktzeh?
What?
How it's possible with Muktzeh concept?
Muktzeh means I pushed it away from use. So when you lit the ner, you said, as long as this is on, I don't want to use this oil. If it goes out, I'll use it when it goes out. That's Rabbi Shimon. If it goes out, I'll use it. That's his. If I have a need for the stuff in the outside, I'll use it. If it goes out, I'll use it. So he's not maktzeh da'at the whole time. Fine. But even Rabbi Shimon agrees that as long as the ner is lit, I can't use not the shemen in the ner, which is asur, and not the shemen that drips from the ner. Because I was at least maktzeh the shemen for the full time that it's lit.
Now that it's out, you're allowed to use it now?
Before it's, Rabbi Shimon agrees, once it goes out, you could use it. But while it's lit, I can't use the oil in it, and I can't use the oil that dripped from it. Because I was maktzeh the oil for the time that the candle is lit. Doesn't make a difference. Doesn't make a difference. Just like, according to those that hold of muktzeh mehamat isur, even after the candle goes out, it stays muktzeh because it was muktzeh, it stays muktzeh.
But the condition, it's nothing to do with it.
What do you mean the condition?
The condition that as long as it's
so because it ketzai leben hashemashot, it ketzai lekuli yoma. Once it was muktzeh ben hashemashot, that's what decides the status of the whole Shabbat. That's what Rabbi Meir holds. That's what Rabbi Yehuda holds. Rabbi Shimon is not holding of that, but he is holding that when you put the shemen in the ner, you planned on it being out of bounds as long as the ner is on, even though it goes out. So what? Hare, when the ner goes out, according to Rabbi Yehuda, there's no problem, but it stays muktzeh. According to Rabbi Shimon, I'm not going to be so mahmir to make it asur till the end of Shabbat, but I am mahmir that as long as it's lit, it's muktzeh. And Rabbi Eliezer ben Rabbi Shimon goes further than his father.
no, but the concept of future. Now it's not muktzeh.
And now it
It's
is.
more
And then it
mahmir.
won't.
It's even less than with the drip. The drip itself is out.
Upaliga le behada. Savar la kavua behada. Jack, let's go. Savar la kavua behada delet le muktzeh. He doesn't know the muktzeh. Upaliga le behada. He's arguing on him with one. The ilu avu, the father, savar, he holds kaba'in lo kabalo. Rabbi Shimon holds it only stops being muktzeh after the ner goes out. Ve'iu savar, and Rabbi Eliezer ben Rabbi Shimon holds afal gav de lo kaba, even though it didn't go out. Look in Rashi. Kaba'in lo kabalo de lo shamina le Rabbi Shimon de shari b'madniti. We only found them being matir ela motar shemen shebaner, the leftover shemen in the ner. There should be ke'ara that's in the plate. The mahashma le'achar shekaba, after it went out. Whereas Rabbi Eliezer ben Shimon says once there's no isur, it stops being muktzeh.
So because it's in that drip pan, there's no isur?
Right. Not because it's in there, because it's out here.
So sort of what Jack is saying.
Yeah, but Jackie wants to force Rabbi Shimon to hold that way.
Right.
That's Rabbi Eliezer ben Rabbi Shimon Sivara, but Rabbi Shimon holds no. As long as it's lit, it's no good. Says the Gemara, the Mishnah, the Braita was interesting. It said Rabbi Shimon says chutz min hanera kaba b'Shabbat. Kapta when it went out mutal l'taltila. Aval kos v'kara v'ashishi lo yizizim imkomam. Right? The kos you can't move. Why not? Hare, once the kos goes out, you should be able to move it according to Rabbi Shimon. Right? Aval kos v'kara lo yizizim imkomam. Ma'ishna hani. Why are these different than the ner? Amar ula. Seifa ata'an Rabbi Yehuda. That line, kos kara ashishi lo yizizim imkomam, goes like Rabbi Yehuda. That holds of muktzeh. Once it was muktzeh ben hashemashot, it's muktzeh the whole day. We're switching. It's a little sloppy. Aval kos ke'arav shit is Rabbi Yehuda. Says the Gemara, mat kifla mor zutra. He's got worse than not clean. Ihachi my aval. If it's Rabbi Yehuda talking, what do you mean aval? But the kos you can't do. But the ner you can't do. There's no but. There's no contrast. If you're telling me it's Rabbi Shimon and ner is mutar, but kos is asur, so I got a but. But if you tell me that it's Rabbi Yehuda, there's no aval. It's all the same. My aval midkan va michlal de bener mutar. Ela Amar Morzutra is going to say a wild chidush. Le'olam Rabbi Shimon. Really, it's Rabbi Shimon. V'chika shari Rabbi Shimon. When does Rabbi Shimon allow you to use the leftovers of the ner? Bener zuta. In the small ner. Tida'ate ilave. That you have in mind that it's going to go out because it doesn't have enough oil for Shabbat. Aval hani din fishi kos ke'ara neshishit. they're big enough to last for the whole Shabbat. So when you light it, you will maktzeh for the whole Shabbat.
Why are you putting everything from the beginning?
What?
Shemen.
He's maktzeh.
Why are you putting so much?
To last.
Small candles.
No. If it's a small candle, it's going to go out tonight. So if it's going to go out tonight, I figure if there's anything left, I'll use it. Masha'en can the cost, it's enough to last till tomorrow night. If it's enough to last tomorrow, I wasn't planning on it going out. Since I wasn't planning on it going out, therefore I didn't have da'ata ilaveh, it's muktzeh.
Good one. Makes sense.
That's really the classic case where Rabbi Shimon is modeh because it's dahinu biyadayim. Lo hazi and dahinu biyadayim. You can't use it because it's muktzeh mehmat isur, and he pushed it off by hand by lighting it. We'll see later on the next couple pages about that. Now the Gemara says, oh yeah, is that true? Velo aval hani lo. V'hatanya, don't we have a braita motar Hashem and the leftover oil? Shebaner v'shebeke'ara asur v'Rabbi Shimon matir. So you see Rabbi Shimon's matir not only in a ner, but also in a ke'ara which is bigger. Says the Gemara, hatam ke'ara dum yedener. You know why ke'ara is in the same sentence as ner? Because just like the ner is small, so too the ke'ara is small. But a big ke'ara will be asur. Hatam hacha ke'ara dum yedekos. Over here the plate is like a kos. Kos is big, the ke'ara is big. Amar bizera. Pamot shehidliku bo b'Shabbat. If you have a candlestick, right, Rashi, menorah shel matechet, it's made of metal. Ve'ena me'usad, the metal doesn't get ma'us because you wipe it down and it's clean. Pamot shehidliku bo b'Shabbat. If you lit in the pamot on Shabbat, le'devrei matir asur. According to Rabbi Shimon, it's going to be asur. Le'devrei ha'oser, according to the one that says, Rashi actually says the matir is Rabbi Meir, yeah. No, Rabbi Meir. Le'devrei ha'oser ha'matir asur. Le'devrei ha'oser mutar. According to Rabbi Yehuda, that holds of muktzeh mehamat mi'us, it's mutar. Le'memra, to Rabbi Yehuda, muktzeh mehamat mi'us itle, muktzeh mehamat isur letle. Are you telling me Rabbi Yehuda holds that the ner yashan is asur because it's disgusting and you're not going to use it? Muktzeh mehamat isur. But if the ner, just because, let's say you lit a ner shamatech where there's no ma'us, but you lit there and it was there Friday night, it was lit. So now you're going to tell me we don't say mugodit kitzai leben hashemashot, it kitzai lekul yomah because it was leben hashemashot, it should stay muktzeh the whole Shabbat. Why not? Rabbi Yehuda doesn't hold to that concept. Can't be. Ve'hatanya, Rabbi Yehuda omer, kol hanerot shel matechet metaltelin. Rabbi Yehuda says you're allowed to move all metal kelim, all metal nerot, chutz min hanes. Why? Because even though I say ner yashan is asur, that's only by cheres because the cheres gets disgusting. But if it's a ner shel matechet, right? If it's a ner shel matechet, then you can't then it doesn't get disgusting. There's no muktzeh mehamat isur. But chutz min haner shehedliku bo b'Shabbat. If you lit it with it on Shabbat, now it becomes muktzeh mehamat isur. So you see clearly that Rabbi Yehuda holds of muktzeh mehamat isur. No, don't play with it. Ela itmar hachi itmar. If you're going to say, this is what you should say. Amar bizera pamot shehedliku ala b'Shabbat. If you have a menorah of matechet that they lit on Shabbat, if you lit on it on Shabbat, divrei hakol asur. Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda both hold it's asur. Why? Because it was muktzeh mehamat isur. Lo hidliku alav. If you didn't light on it, divrei hakol mutar, because there's no there's no muktzeh mehamat mi'us.
So it has to not be used. Why did that call?
What? No, it could be used.
No, I'm saying,
but it can't be used on Shabbat, right? Well, according to Rashi, we're only dealing to be, first of all, Divrei HaKol Asur, yeah. We're only dealing to be Meir and Rabbi Yehuda.
If you have a shelah with the candle, that brother, you get 5 kamotin, and you use one of them for Shabbat, the rest are empty. And what is considered?
It's all one keli, no?
One keli, yeah.
one item.
In the middle of Tosfot it says ve'en neder l'Rabbeinu tam. Telefi zeh hadem masik divrei hakol asur is Eli's question. Lo have ela Rabbi Meir v'Rabbi Yehuda. The Kayalayo. It's only talking to Rabbi Meir and Yehuda. Velo Rabbi Shimon. So how do you say Divrei HaKol if you're only talking about 2 out of the 3 players? V'chem Pirish Rabbeinu Hananel. L'Divrei HaMatir Hainu Rabbi Shimon Asar Kam Bepamot. Why? The Pamot Gadolu Kekos. The Pamot is big. Kekos Ke'arav Ashishit. Kemo Pamutot Shel Bet Rabbi that were big. L'Divrei Oser Hainu Rabbi Meir v'Rabbi Yehuda. The Asri B'ner Cheres. They're matir. Vani mili b'nei shel cheres. Ikatarte. Muktzeh mehamat mi'us u'mehamat isur. Aval b'ner matechet sharu. Umasik that it's not true. Afilu b'nei shel matechet asar b'mi'ir. Okay, so he says it's big and it's Rabbi Shimon also, and therefore it's Divrei HaKol. The Gemara says, so it comes out by ner shel matech pamot, which is big. Everybody agrees. Hidliku alav asur. Lo hidliku alav mutar. Amar Biuda, Amar Rav, Mita. If you have a bed.
What's the halakha l'maaseh?
Halakha l'maaseh is really like Rabbi Meir. We hold them muktzeh mehamat isur, and we don't hold them muktzeh mehamat mi'us.
So if there's an empty, let's say you have a menorah on a shelf and you want to get something behind it.
So that's a kli shemelachto le'isur. You want to, you're not really allowed to move if it like that. But if it's on your bed, if it's on your table, you won't need to take it off. You're allowed. Unless it's chisaron kis. An expensive silver menorah generally is chisaron kis. You're careful not to use it for anything else. You use your candlesticks for anything else? Your wife's silver candlesticks, you need to open the door, you take them and you...
I'll be sleeping on the couch.
That's not because of ma'us. The tray and the bread on the table, that's because of muktzeh mehamat isur. Because we hold muktzeh mehamat isur. If you lit in the Friday night, you can't move it. Ashkenazim, they light the candles on the table.
Yeah.
So they have a problem. You can't take them off.
How do you clean
The whole table becomes muktzeh. So they put the halot on the table at the same time. So it's a basis davar mutar ve'asur.
And then what?
So then they're allowed to take off the table.
them the
When it goes out, so they move it. Sfaradim really have another answer. They can make a tanai.
They can move it after it goes out?
Yeah, according to the Sfaradim, we hold you can make a tanai to that after it goes out, you're not maktzeh da'ato from me. You say any bodil ben hashemashot, whatever, and then according to Maran, you're allowed to move it after it goes out. Where's
I must
Ashken?
use candles. 'Cause my wife's oil lasts till sometimes
Till the next
late
day.
the next morning.
Okay, you make a tanai goes out the next morning because you have the big cups. That's why, and you don't put water.
Right.
Let's see. Amar biuda.
Yeah, the crackle and smoke.
Amar, that's what wakes you up in the morning. Amar, snap, crackle, and pop. Amar Rabbi Yehuda. Amar Rav. Rabbi Yehuda said the name of Rav. Mita shi hadal ma'ot. They used beds for a lot of stuff over there. I don't know what. Maybe they called little tables beds. Amar Rav. Mita shi hadal ma'ot. You have this little bed that he set aside for putting his money on. Or it's modern days people. They have it special for the mattress. They fill the mattress with money. Halabi style, right? Amarav, mita, you sleep well when the money's in the mattress. Amarav, mita shi hadal ma'ot asur. If you have a bed that you set aside for putting money, asur l'taltila, you're not allowed to move it because it's muktzeh, it's a basis l'davara asur. So he seems to be saying, look in Rashi, shi hadal ma'ot. He didn't even put money in it. He just cut the hole to put the money in, like, right? Or they didn't put it on the side, they put it on top. She hadal ma'ot mitzira becomes asur b'hazmana be'alma, just by designating it. Ve'afal gav shelo iniyach alei me'olam, even though he didn't put anything on it. Says Gemara, meiti vei Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak. Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak asked on this. Metaltali ner hadash aval lo yashan. You're allowed to move a new ner, but not an old one. Now, how you allowed to move the ner hadash? Isn't the ner hadash miyuhad for lighting in? Just like the mitah is miyuhad for ma'ot, so too the ner is miyuhad for lighting.
Candle is only for candle. I mean, I should for any other things. You sleep on it also.
So it's worse.
Why?
Meaning,
It's multi-user.
listen to the Gemara. Uma ner de lahachi avida. The ner was made for lighting in. So That's the only function, but that's prime function. And kilo hidlik ba when you didn't light in it yet. Shari letaltula, you're allowed to move it. Mita that you set aside for money. Tilav lahachi avida, it wasn't made for money. You're setting it aside for money. If I didn't put money on it, lo kol sheken that it should be mutar. Ela itmar hachi itmar.
The mita is also the mita and mita the ner?
Look in Rashi on the page before. Metaltalin ner hadash. The Rabbi Yehuda ka'amarla. Rabbi Yehuda is the one that says this. Te'itle muktzeh. He holds a muktzeh. Alma lo mitzar bazmana. It's not asur by designating. Mid ka'amar avalo yashan. Because he said an old, meaning maybe ner hadash. I didn't even designate it for what's it called. For lighting it. It says no, mid ka'amar lo yashan. It says the only one you can't move is the old one. But a new one that I didn't set aside yet for what's it called, for lighting. Maybe I'm making it, I'm doing a salad dressing run. We're going to use it for salad dressings in the restaurant. No. Me, the Katania. The only one I can't is Yashan, the one that I lit in already. But the one that I didn't light in, but I set aside for lighting, is still mutar. Says the Gemara, Humane de la Chiavida. Kilo idlik ba shari letaltula. Mita. Mita de lav lahachi avida lo kol sheken. Ela I itmar hachi itmar. If you want to say, you say like this. Amar Rav Yehuda, Amar Rav, mita shi hada lema'ot. If you have a mita that you set aside for money. Heniya halea ma'ot asur. If you put money on it, asur letaltala even when there's no money on it. Lo heniya halea ma'ot. If you didn't put money on it, mutar letaltila, you're allowed to move it because the designation didn't do anything. Lo heniya halea ma'ot mutar letaltila. Lo yihada lema'ot. If he didn't set it aside for money, stam, it's a bed, there's money on it. Yesh alea ma'ot, when it has money on it, isul letaltila. En alea ma'ot, if it doesn't have money on it, mutar letaltila, you're allowed to move it. Vehu shelo hayu alea ben hashemashot. That's assuming that the money wasn't on it for the whole ben hashemashot. But if the money was on it for the whole ben hashemashot, migod it kitzai le ben hashemashot. Once it became muktzeh ben hashemashot, even though they stole the money and there's no money on the bed anymore, it's still muktzeh because it was muktzeh ben hashemashot. No, by yihada, once you put money on it, it stays asur even if there was no money on it ben hashemashot. Money on it Tuesday. Look at Rashi.
Don't designate it.
Heniya halea ma'ot. Top Rashi. Albert, make me coffee. Coffee.
Rabbi, even a tzorech mekomo you have to move to bed?
Nothing.
And the candle you have to move the tzorech mekomo.
The ner.
The tzorech mekomo you have to move.
Yeah, we just said if you have to move it
because the ner was is not miyuchad for ma'ot.
I don't know what ma'ot or ma'ot.
Why is it muktzeh?
Candle was on B'nai Shemashot. It's muktzeh. Only you can move it for tzorech mekomo. What's the other reason you have to move the candle for?
The nail is going to go off.
Tzorech gufo, tzorech mekomo.
Okay, so why we didn't say the same thing about the bed? The tzorech gufo, tzorech mekomo, the same thing. I can move it.
You know the nail is going to go off.
The money's never going to go off. No.
But once the money is in there, what are you going to do? You move it on Shabbat?
But again, as long as B'nai Shemashot, why is mentioned B'nai Shemashot?
Tosafot makes the point like this. Tosafot clarifies. If you go back a second, go back to the Tosfot on the bottom of Mem Dalet Amud Aleph. Mishnah, the Tosfot says, Mitashi hadal lema'ot asul letaltila, nireh da'afilu letzorech gufo o letzorech mekomo asur. This mitah is not like a klishim lachto le'isur. We're talking that it's considered muktzeh mehamat gufo. Why? Tekivan shi hadal lema'ot. Once you set it for money, shuv en osim mena shum tashmish. They don't do anything else with it. That was the thing. It's for money.
You don't sleep on it?
No, nothing.
Just the bed is only...
They thought it was...
So why call it bed? Call it something else.
Somebody...
Tell you a bed. Why you say box?
Jack, I'm going to teach you new shtuyot now.
Okay,
They thought it was bad luck to use a bed that was miyuchad for money for anything else. And if you sleep on the money bed, your money will be sleepy. If you sit on the money bed, it was a whole shtuyot. No, חסר שטויות.
לא חסר, but to make a according to שטויות?
No.
זה שטויות.
The uvda is like that. The uvda is that the uvda is that once you used it for that, you wouldn't use it for anything else. If you saw a guy sitting like, hey, get off the bed, the money bed. Hey. Right?
This is something else then.
So now, once you have the mitam yuchedet lema'ot, nobody is Nobody is using it.
Because it's safe, that's it.
So he says that's like hatzotzrot. Remember by the hatzotzrot we said according to the Biudah, even though it's possible to use it for something else, but since nobody does, it's very far-fetched, that's considered muktzeh. So too over here, even though it's a mitah and it's a keli, and even if it's a klish mlachto le'isur, it should be mutar le'tzorah kofom komo. Since you practically use it for nothing else, it's muktzeh. So Tosafot continues that theme, and then he says, if that's the case, how do you bring it ayah from a ner hadash avolo yashan? Right? The ner hadash is made of cheres. You use it for 100 other things. Hare ner shel matechet, a ner shel matechet, there is no muktzeh. It's made for lighting, and you're allowed to use it for anything else. It's not muktzeh even according to the Biudah. So what are you bringing a proof from a ner, which has other uses, to the mitashi hadal ma'od that has no other uses? Says Tosafot, the proof is actually from ner shel cheres. When you make a ner shel cheres, you know you're not going to really be able to use it for anything else.
Once you use it.
Once I use it, it's over. It's disgusting. I'm only using it for the cheres. Right? It's like something that you put in your car. You know, like in the oil. Before you put it in the motor, it's clean. Doesn't smell like gas. Doesn't have. Once you put it in there, the whole thing smells like you have the funnel. You know the funnel they use to put the oil in the oil change? Maybe when it's brand new, I might use it for something else.
Never gonna use it for anything else.
And once you use it once, ma'us. Whereas according to the B Shimon, if I don't know the muktzeh mehamam use, that's okay too. I'll find something usable.
But this mitah is special only for flus, nothing else.
The mitah is only for flus. So he says that ayah from the ner shel cheres. When you make the ner shel cheres, it's as miyuhad as the mitah shel ma'od. But since you didn't use it yet, it's okay. So to the mitah, since I didn't use it yet, it's okay.
But if you had the intention to use it for money, automatically.
No, intention is the same as intention by the ner shel cheres. It's only if I have the intention and I set it aside for money. But that doesn't mean that any time I put money on a bed, it becomes a money bed. That's the end of the bed. Let's read it again.
No, but here it says, doesn't it say,
Let's read it again. Ela I itmar hach. Yeah, that was what Rav said in the beginning, but then we changed it. We said Ela I itmar hach itmar. Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav mitashi hadal ma'ot. If you have a bed that you set aside for money, heniya halei ma'ot. If you put the money on it, so I need two things. I need hadal ma'ot, and then I put money on it. Asul letaltela, now let him move it. Lo heniya halei ma'ot. If he didn't put money on it, mutar letaltela. He's allowed to move it. Why?
He said this is from all.
Because he never started it. Lo yihadal ma'ot.
You use it once and you took it out. Which means that use it?
One second. What do you mean? He used it. He set it aside to be a money bed.
Yeah.
He used it once,
for Shabbat,
and he took it off.
Yeah.
It's still a money bed, though.
Yeah. So
Okay, so then it's muktzeh.
That's what I said.
According to Rav, it's muktzeh.
That's it, yeah.
Lo yihadal
If you refurbish.
ma'ot. If he didn't set it aside for money, lo yihadal ma'ot. Yesh alei ma'ot. Asul letaltela. Then, if it has money on it, you're not allowed. Why? It's muktzeh. It's a basis ledavara asur. Money's like rocks. Look at the bottom Rashi for a second. Hahir bi Shimon hiumiu ma'ot lo hazumidi. You can't do anything with money. Umoder bi Shimon.
If you need the makom.
Umoder bi Shimon. No, it's muktzeh mehamat gufo. What could you use money for?
No, I want to move the money. Use the bed.
The maid comes in and she takes it from there.
One second. Let's say you have. Give you an example. You have the coins that you win in the amusement park. You know those tokens? The fake things. Take them home. What are they good for?
Zero.
Absolutely nothing. So money is only.
Some money.
Not in your house. You can only redeem him in Trump.
Yeah, but they have dollar value to it. If
So
somebody buys casino
gold,
chips.
the same thing. Gold is the value.
So does the tokens if you go.
Time up.
No, that's not. You're not getting cash for a token.
1 second. Bobby, if Trump goes bankrupt,
It's worthless.
it's worthless. Thank you. So now, the only value of money is for its value. But it itself has no function.
Right.
Can't do anything with it.
Can't do anything with it. I can't open lights with it. I can't eat it. I can't smell it. Nothing. Nothing. Does nothing. Right? So it itself has no function. Yes, it's worth plenty in the meantime. It's misameach. You look at it.
Make your wife happy.
But it has no function. Now, Jack will tell me a diamond ring has no function either. It catches.
Same thing.
Yeah, but it makes you look nice. What do you do with money? Make a shirt. Make a shirt.
Rabbi, show somebody a bill of $100 or how you like it more.
So that's why money is considered useless. For Shabbat purposes, it's useless. It's like rocks. It's like rocks. What?
In your opinion.
No, it's like rocks. It's like rocks. Some rocks are expensive too. Okay.
Give me the money, I'll show
He'll show me what to do with it. I know. Everybody's a wise guy when we learn this together. Give me the money, I'll show you, Rabbi. You can flip coin. You can flip a coin. You can flip a coin. You can start the Super Bowl with it.
Matsui, you ever go and you have something and on the maid or something and the lady tells you, go there's something on the bed.
Go what?
I'm saying, so it's useful. The money.
What's useful?
Pay the goy?
The lady tells the maid, go upstairs, there's something on the maid.
That's the value. That's the value of it. But for functional, the most you have is like Bobby, 2 5s for a 10. But besides for that, it's try and use cheap currency for that.
Right.
Okay. So therefore we say, Lo yihada lema'ot. If you didn't set the bet aside for money, yesh alei ma'ot. If there's money on it, asul letaltila, you're not allowed to move it. En alei ma'ot. If there's no money on it, mutar letaltila. You're allowed to move it. Why? What's the problem? There was no muktzeh on it. Vehu shelo hayu alei ben hashemashot. That's as long as the money wasn't on it ben hashemashot. Because if the money was on it ben hashemashot, we'll say migod it ketzai ben hashemashot, because it was muktzeh ben hashemashot. It ketzai lekuli yoma. It stays muktzeh the whole day. Now this is probably the hardest part of the page. Amar Ula Mativ Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Eliezer asked the question. Muchni shela. Muchni. So Rashi learns that the muchni is the wheel of the wagon. Look in Rashi. Muchni shela, all the way up. Gabe sheda tenan. Can you get me? There's a book in the Shas called Zira'im and Taharot. Muchni shela, the wheel of the. So Rashi says Muchni shela gabe sheda tenan. Sheda is a big like cabinet. V'masech kelim. V'hi agala shel etz. So now it's a wood carriage. Mukefed mechitza, surrounded by a wall. Lemirkav anashim v'nashim, for men and ladies to ride on. Muchni is ofan, is a wheel. Soli, I want the Shas. You can send that too, but from the Shas, there's a book Kaf Hey that's Taharot and Zira'im. It's the 25th verse. Soli, down from the big Shas. No. Right there, the big brown one, that one. Gemara, Eli, right there.
Yes.
It's Zira'im and Taharot. So the Muchni, Rashi says, is the wheel. So you have some sort of a carriage, and the wheel of the carriage, that's what we're talking about. Muchni shela. Bizman shehi nishmetet. Thank you. So you have a picture of the Muchni somewhere here. I'll show you. You have a beautiful picture of a Muchni. You ready? There's an artistic drawing from the 1700s or something. See the mukhni? We'll pass it around. So now Rashi's learning that the mukhni is the wheel. And Tosfot's going to learn that the mukhni is the whole bottom contraption.
4 wheels with the box, right?
So Rashi learns each wheel is called a mukhni. A wheel, I don't know, in some variant of Hebrew or some language over there. Right? So mukhni shela.
Why are you all of a sudden talking about mukhni?
We're going to see. There's one line that we need in the Braita. Until then, we're going to have to break our heads. Mukhni shela. Bizman shehi nishmetet. If it's a removable mukhni. Right. If the mukhni, if it's removable in hiburla, it's not a connection. Whenever we have dealing with tumah, we have to know if something is a connection or not. Why? Because, like if I'm an ava tumah, I can make a keli into a rishon letumah, but not a sheni letumah. Right? We went through those rules once upon a time. Right? So now, if I touch something and it could come apart, is that one keli or 2 kelim? If it's 1 keli, then the whole thing will become tameh like a rishon letumah. If it's 2 kelim, then the thing that I touched is tameh. The next part is not tameh. Right? So if the wheel is removable, and I touch the wheel, so the wheel will become a rishon, and the rest of the contraption is not going to be anything because it can't become a sheni. Right now it's connected, but you can take it apart. Huh? Doesn't make a difference. It's 2 kelim that happen to be together.
So like a car, you could take a wheel off of a car.
Maybe that's true. Yeah,
Jack up the car. Take off the
that's
wheel.
right. So Bisman she.
No, but the chassis is the chassis.
Nobody built this.
You could Henry Ford and what's it called? What you put?
The frame.
There's some things that you can't figure out how to get it out. Like it all comes off and it's broken. But most of the stuff you can take apart.
Okay, but the frame of the car is the frame. It's welded. That's it. It's one piece.
Right. If it's welded, it's what's it called? Very good. Let's go.
So what about my car, Rabbi? I can take off all the doors, I can take off the roof.
Hazar Baruch. So maybe the doors are not a
The
chibur.
car is the frame.
Now there's another question. I mean, this is on the side. We got to move on. But how professional do you have to be to take it off? Might be a factor also. I mean, even I could take the wheel off of my car. Now it's not getting me to take off the door. Door's not going to look too good by the time I'm finished.
Anybody can take it off.
If it's a snap,
Yeah, it's not that hard.
What?
I have some cases like before. If it's a snap, it's considered.
Could be. Okay. Let's go. So that's the first thing. Bizman shi nishmetet rashi. Kigon ofne agala shelanu, like our carriage wheel. She'adam yachol esalekum min agala. You can take it off of the carriage. En hiburla. It's not a connection. The hashuvahi keli la'atzma. It's its own keli. The isheda bat kibul tumahi. If the box is able to accept tumah, kigon she'ena machzeket 40 se'ah, for example, it's not big enough to hold 40 se'ah belach. V'nitme'ah sheda, and the sheda became tameh. Lo nitme'ah hamuchni. The wheel is not tameh. V'ilav bat kibul tumahi. If the sheda is too big to accept tumah, v'naga'ah tumah b'muchni, hamuchni teme'ah le'atzma. The muchni is tameh in itself, and we don't say, oh, since the sheda is not mekabel tumah, the mukhni is not mekabel tumah because it's its own item. That's one. The enim dedet ima. You don't measure it with the mukhni. You don't measure the mukhni together with the sheda because we know that once a keli is too big, it's not mekabel tumah. How big is too big? 40 se'ah. Rashi tells us that 40 se'ah doesn't have to be that it actually holds 40 se'ah. Even when Rashi quotes. Ve'enem dedet ima le'inyan tum'ah kedeprishi tekli etz, a wooden keli hamachzik 40 se'ah that holds 40 se'ah belach shem kurayim bi'avesh tahor, like we said in Bamei Madlikin. Tekli etz itkish lesak shehem metaltel malev rekan vezu ena metaltel. That's the intro. Now Rashi says v'tanan b'masechet kelim umaytina b'gmara demenachot hasheda. When you have the box, be'telil omrim nimdedet mi bachutz. You measure it from the outside. Meaning, if you want to know how big is the sheda, don't measure how much it holds inside and subtract the thickness of the walls. Imagine that you were to put the whole shedah into a bigger keli. If that bigger keli would hold 40 se'ah, it's tahor. So I include the thickness of the walls. Now, can I include the wheel thickness also or not? So he says, if it's nishmetet, if it comes off, then you can't include it. You have to measure it separately. You measure the shedah, the wheel doesn't count. Right? So this gets complicated. There's certain times that you have something that even though it's in a place where there's a met and it should become tameh, it will stop it from becoming tameh. So the classic case is in the Torah. V'chol keli patuach asher en tzamid patil alav tamehu, which means any open keli that's in a bite that has a mit, that's not sealed with a closure, tamehu. So what do I see? Michlal he nata shomei alav. That if it is sealed with a closure, the tumah is not going to go in. So you see that you could have a keli in a in a ohel mit, but if it's sealed closed, the stuff inside won't become tameh. However, that case only works because kli cheres has a quirk. What's the quirk of kli cheres? That it's only mekabel tumah from the inside. Just like by electricity, right? You can't insulate with a conductor, right? Electricity goes through. You want to wrap the wire with metal, not going to work. Why? Because you'll touch the metal, you get zapped too. So you got to wrap it with plastic, which doesn't conduct electricity. So too by the keli and the ohel mit. If the keli itself accepts tum'ah, so how's it going to block the tum'ah from coming inside when the keli itself becomes tameh? So the tum'ah goes right through. A kli cheres has the quirk that it only becomes tameh from inside the kli cheres. So you have a kli cheres that has food inside, and it's totally sealed. The outside keeps rebuffing the tumah, and it can't get into the kli cheres. Right? So that works in ohel mit, but wood things won't work. So Rashi is bothered. He says, what does it mean that the wheel should be matzelet be'ohel mit? Has the wheel give me matzil be'ohel mit? The shedah is made of wood. Wood is mekabel tumah. If wood is mekabel tumah, inside a house, it can't save it from accepting tumah. So Rashi says, look in Rashi inside. If the shedah is big, it's 40 se'ah. It will protect it from tumah and ohel mit. It will be its own oil. Not talking that you brought it into a house that has a mit. There's no saving. The roof of the house is on top of the taharot. Wood is mekabel tumah. A wood keli, yeah. Wood keli. No, if it's a keli, if you made it into a keli. See, Rashi seems to be learning, not like the picture over there. Rashi seems to be learning that the shedah is just a carriage. But it's not covered. So Rashi says if you bring the carriage with the food inside, it's gonna what's called, the roof is on top of it, it's gonna become tameh. So Rashi says no, it's talking about that the carriage rode into a cemetery and went over a grave, and if the carriage is big enough, it will block the tumah from going up. So how's the muchni going to block tumah? He says it's on top of the wheel. If it's not going to block it. No, if you have an ohel blocks the tumah from going up. If it has to be a tefach over the ground, there's more than a tefach over the ground, it can block the tumah. But the problem would be if the thing is mekabel tumah, again, it can't block because it itself becomes tameh. So it has to be of big enough size that the tumah doesn't go up, and then it will block it. So Rashi is saying if the wheel comes off, the wheel is mekabel tumah, and it can't block. See, the thing is, Rashi gives a case. So what do I need the muchni to block it for? He says no. If the muchni is high up, meaning let's say the side of the the side of the carriage ends over here, and the muchni goes up like this. So it's blocking the kelim from the side. I don't understand how tumah is coming in from the side. No, oil is, if you go over it, you're in oil. I have a problem maybe. I don't understand Rashi. Neither does Tosfot. But Rashi seems to be saying, as the carriage is going in, so the carriage here is blocking the tumah from going up. The tumah is here, the carriage is blocking the tumah.
Space do you need?
A tefach.
How big is the tefach? This, that's it?
Yeah. It has to be wide a tefach also. The carriage has to be a tefach wide and not mekabel tumah.
Ask you a question. I mean, if that's the case, why don't they have a coffin with a tefach on top of it and an ohel?
They do.
No, they do.
They do that for when they go on the El Al plane. It's questionable because Tosafot holds, we learned in Berachot, that if the coffin is totally closed, the tumah busts out. So it's not so clear, not so easy. But could be the Rambam disagrees. El Al, if you ever watch them, if you ever go to one of those, they don't let you in anymore. Years ago, forgot who they were taking, I watched. They took cardboard, they wrapped it around, they put something on top. That's how they take the thing on the plane. A lot of Kohanim don't think it works, so they won't go on that either. That's a whole question. I never got the official write-up about why it works. I know why it should work, and I know why it shouldn't work. I know Rabbi Max holds it's fine. Rabbi Max holds it's fine. But I don't know exactly a full discussion about it. I never got. I know the basics. But it's a very complicated field. Your question is valid in so much as we only know this much about Tuman Tahara. Well thought. What?
Maybe the Tumah saying only breaks to one box. This is a double box.
No.
Rabbi, what about on regular planes?
Yeah.
Don't even use that.
What's it about? Regular planes don't carry dead people.
How would you know?
We don't assume. I have to assume. You have to assume if you go on a bus that there's a dead guy on the bottom. Doesn't happen too often. Hello, there's all the time. It's almost all the time. They love those flights. They make a lot of money on that. That's why some Kohanim will only fly like Continental or Delta because they don't take them.
There's a lot of money for it.
Hello has one flight, but they know that this for sure.
I know what I'm saying, but it's an issue. It's an issue. What you said is a possible solution.
Let me ask you a question. When you have a coffin in a hearse, so that's considered no help?
It could be.
It could be.
It could be.
It is or it isn't.
There's other considerations that go into it. It's a little short. Now, as we go through Shas, we'll find a lot of different pieces and we'll talk about them as they go on. But definitely when the hearse is stopped, it will block the Tumah, according to most poskim. Yeah.
But when it's moving,
Maybe yes, maybe no.
so if a Kohen is in the Bukum Barum tunnel behind the hearse,
Somebody told me, and I got to finish the page, but somebody told me that he was with a Kohen in the car. They were going into the Lincoln Tunnel. They saw a hearse go in before. The guy pulled over to the side and waited 20 minutes before he went in. All right, let's go.
Even the car.
It's a question, a car that's moving, maybe it's not. There's all types of questions
What's our
on it.
current case?
It's a long thing and we can't do it in 10 minutes. Right? Our current case, so Rashi learns that it's blocking it from going up. Tosafot says he doesn't understand what you need the side for. So Tosafot says the opposite. It's talking in the house. And the Shedah is covered. And it's big, it's not Mekabel Tumah. So therefore, in theory, when it goes in, it should block the Tumah like a Kli Cheres. Just like a Kli Cheres blocks it because the Tumah doesn't affect it. If this thing is big enough, it will also block the Tumah. So where do the wheels come into play? It says, let's say there's a hole on the side of the box that's a tefach by a tefach. That's big enough to let the Tumah in. And the wheel is blocking it. It's making it less than a tefach by a tefach. So if the wheel is permanent, so then that's considered blocked. If the wheel is not permanent, then it's not enough to block less than a tefach. You have to totally close it. The wheel is not doing that. That's the way Tosfot learns. Let's continue. Right. The en gorrin otab b'Shabbat bizman sheyesh aleha ma'ot. You're not allowed to drag the muchni on Shabbat if there's money on it. That's what we need. Ha en aleha ma'ot. But if there's no money on it, sharia it's mutar. Afagav dahavu aleh ben hashemashot. Even though there was money on it ben hashemashot. And aleha now, goy took it mutar. Says the Gemara, no problem. Right, that's his question. I mean, the mukhni is not miyuhad for ma'ot, but you see that the ben hashemashot doesn't make a difference. Hayi Rabbi Shimon, that goes like Rabbi Shimon. The let le muktzeh. He doesn't believe in muktzeh. The Rav, Rabbi Yehuda svirale. Rav holds like Rabbi Yehuda. Hachinami mistabra. It makes sense. The Rav Rabbi Yehuda svirale. The Amar Rav says, Manichin ner al gabe dekel bish. Okay, we'll get to this tomorrow. There's an interesting Tosfot. Tosfot says, now, one point. If you have money on the muchni, yeah? If you have money on the muchni, what's the difference? Nishmete, not nishmete, it's muktzeh.
Maybe because it's the same thing like Tumah.
So he says, En gorrin ota b'shabbat bizman sheyesh alem ma'ot. Mefaresh ri, t'chshehi nishmetet, when it comes off, he keli b'fnei atzma. Aval k'she'ena nishmetet, mutar legorra, afal pi sheyesh alem ma'ot. If it's not, what's it called? If it's not nishmetet, then you could pull it even though it has money on it. T'kivan she'enam al gabei sheda, she'i kara keli shari. Since it's not on the main keli, which is the sheda, it's mutar. Meaning when it's detachable. Tosfot learns that the muchni is not just the wheel; it's the whole carriage part. The whole bottom part of the thing is the muchni. So he's saying if the money is on the muchni and the muchni is its own keli, so your muchni is a basis. But if you're going to tell me that the muchni is attached to the carriage and it can't come apart, and the money is on the muchni, the main part of the carriage is not the wheels. The main part of the cabinet is the cabinet. Here's the klal. You can't make something a basis l'davara isur unless you put the money on the ikara keli. But if you put the money on not the ikara keli, no. So therefore, the Ramah says in Orah Hayim, he says, let's say you have a tish kestel.
Who?
A tish kestel. A tish in Yiddish is a table. I think a kestel means a drawer. Right? Is that Ramah or Mishnah Berurah says tish kestel? Right? You have a drawer under the table. If it's connected to the drawer, to the table, it doesn't come out, right? It's got those screws that you can't get it out.
Yeah.
Right? So now, if you put money in the drawer, it will not make the whole table muktzeh. Because it's not on the ikar of the table. Whereas if the drawer comes out, the drawer itself is a basis. But if the drawer is connected, the drawer is not its own keli. It's not on the ikar ha-table, so it's not muktzeh. Similarly, if you have money in your pocket, if the pocket is a separate item, like what? Yeah, table. Yeah. If you have money in the pocket is like a separate little keli sewn into your pants, right? So therefore, money in the pocket will not, depends on jeans. Your pants, no. The pants you're wearing, the jeans, when you put the money in the pocket, it's on the pants.
Yes.
Especially those back pockets, right? The back pockets is like a little piece of fabric sewn on, but the money's on the pants. Whereas if you're wearing suit pants, so the pocket is a separate pouch sewn into the pants. It's not on the ikara keli, so it will not make the whole pants a basis l'davara asur. All of that, even though it's connected. Tosfot, that's what Tosfot says. Adraba. If it is removable, it's worse because the thing itself becomes a basis, then you have a basis.
So in the case of the table, the drawer is basis, not the whole table.
In the indoor case.
No, but the drawer can't be a basis if it's connected.
It's not if it's removable.
Then the drawer is a basis, right?